Wel fesgar ma hwla dwnia agus fal cwydjera van la. Rhain sy'n a hws. Applause. If you're going to keep giving me a microphone, then you're going to have to learn a wee bit of Gaelic. I said fesgar ma. Gleiva hwla dwnia. Okay, good afternoon everyone and welcome to the end of the day. We made it. Don't worry though, I won't keep you long. I'm a bit worried because I heard that yesterday there was a policy passed while I was out of the room. Now, it may not be true because I only heard this second hand, but it was entitled, "Giving a Speech Bears a Heavy Responsibility." And this is how it reads. If you give a bad speech for 15 minutes, then it's okay, because you're only wasting 15 minutes of your own time. But if you give a bad 15-minute speech to 400 people, you've wasted 6,000 hours or 250 days, and that should be a hanging offence. Luckily, most of our 400 delegates have headed off to catch their trains or the replacement bus service, so I should be safe enough. Now, it's been a real pleasure to be here in Perth. It's such a beautiful part of the world, and the welcome has been truly amazing. Although I come from a long line of Highlanders, my family were actually living here for a few years, and I was actually born in Perth Royal Infirmary. As usual, conference has only been possible thanks to a small army of organisers and helpers. They bring us all together to squabble passionately, to unite democratically, and obsess over baked goods. Now, is Eva in the room? Or has she sneaked away? I heard her voice when I was backstage, and she's obviously run off. Because I did want to say and just show all our appreciation for Eva, who single-handedly, not quite, has done this amazing job of putting together the conference. So please put your hands together in appreciation for Eva. But of course, no man, woman, or non-binary person is an island. So we also need to thank all of the staff, party and venue, the BSL interpreter, the photographer, and every single one of the volunteers who've worked so hard to make these last 3 days such an overwhelming success. Thank you. Also, let us thank all of the speakers who've joined together to give such inspirational talks, both here and in the workshop, and also all of the stall holders. It's these talks and conversations that inspire us and motivate us for the years ahead, so thank you to them. A special mention for all the months and months of hidden work that goes on before conference that none of us see and is done all involuntary, and that's to SOC. And also to the Forest School who've been done a good job of looking after the children this conference too. Thank you. So what have been the highlights of our conference so far? Well, the ceilidh was superb, and I even got a dance from a certain Mr. Did you all see it? Good, you're all there. The pub quiz was legendary, and the speakeasy that followed will certainly go down in history, I'm sure. And so thanks to the Perth branch of the Young Greens who organised our social events too. Thank you. Now, the thing that really makes us different from the other political parties is our unwavering shared principles, our internal moral compass, our desire to put the planet, people, and peace at the forefront. And also that we're part of a global movement. We heard this weekend how much we share in common with our fellow Greens in Europe and Australia and throughout the world. Giz told us that there are 15,000 Green Party members in Australia, which is not that much more than us, and yet they've got so many elected representatives that she struggled to count them. The success they have seen is down to community organising and campaign structure, knowing where your vote is and getting them out. Thank you to Giz for taking the time to be with us this weekend. We truly appreciate it. Ska told us how our voice has been so important and how she will stand with us in support of staying in the EU. She also impressed upon us how the local actions that we can lead to such a big difference on the global level. So thank you so much to Ska for your friendship and your support. I've been going around asking lots of people today what their highlights have been from the conference, and Maggie Chapman and Peter McCall have come out tops. Maggie for her amazing speech, full of intellect, on-point observations, and full of inspiration. Peter, thank you. Peter, well, what can I say? I just hope for the people that were sitting around you that you didn't get too excited during Maggie's speech. Much of our focus has been on ensuring that we are in the best possible shape for next year's local authority elections. We have a tremendous group of Green councillors at present, and they do a superb job. Could I ask if there's any of those councillors left, if they could please stand up? Any of our current councillors still here? We've got one, we've got two, we've got three, we've got four, there's loads. These people have paved the way for others. They're showing what a difference even one strong Green voice can make, and we thank you. Mel told us that there are 351 wards in Scotland, and wouldn't it be amazing if we could offer everyone in Scotland the chance to vote Green in our local authority elections next year? What she didn't tell you is that when you signed up for conference, there was a little bit of small print at the end that told you you were actually signing up to become a candidate. So if we had 400 delegates, we're sure to get that 351. She's been extremely busy throughout this conference, speaking to people, particularly women, to encourage them to stand. And if you know anyone that has got even an inkling of a thought about standing, please encourage them to make sure that they can put themselves forward and stand. Unfortunately, in Highlands and Islands, we have no Green councillors. We recently contested a by-election. And as I got knocked out in round 4, the chief executive of the council came to shake my hand and commiserate. One day, he said, now I'm not a very gracious loser, for those of you who've been around me at election time will know. And I said, rather sarcastically, yes, maybe one day, but then I won't be young and enthusiastic anymore. I'll be old and jaded, but I suppose I'll fit right in. That's not a joke, that actually happened. So how are we going to make sure that I and the other candidates don't have to wait until we're old and jaded? How are we going to make sure that we have these record numbers of Green councillors elected in May? Well, it's up to you. Every single leaflet that is delivered, every single stall that is manned, every single poster that is put up, every single door that is chapped upon, every single badge that is handed out and worn, especially the Gaelic ones, and every single conversation that is held. These are the things that will make a difference, and these are the things that will get us results. It's our activists who win the campaigns for us. We did it in 2016 for our Holyrood campaign, and we saw 6 wonderful MSPs elected as a result. And I know that we can replicate that success again in 2017. Now, after the by-election, I spiralled into an ever too familiar pit of political despair. You know the kind of thing. Oh, what's the point in doing this? We just can't seem to make a breakthrough. Nobody loves me. I'll just have to go and eat worms. But you'll be glad to know that it didn't last for very long. All it took was a couple of hours at the theatre, watching the Cheviot, the Stag, and the Black Oil, and I was all fired up again. Much to the horror of my 12-year-old who was sitting next to me, I cried through most of it. But it made me remember why I do this. Well, what can I say? It's in my blood. This little island that I wear around my neck is the island of Raasay. It's the island that my dad comes from. In 1921, my great-grandfather was one of the Raasay Raisers, 6 men who set sail in the middle of the night from the tiny little island of Rona. Their predecessors had been shifted there during the clearances, and they came back to claim their ancestral home back on the fertile south of Raasay. These land raids were happening all over Scotland. They had the courage to stand up and fight for what they believe is right, and it gives me the courage I need to stand up for what I believe in. They may have had the Land League supporting them, but we've got something even better. We've got Andy Whiteman. Now, before we all head back home to stare down the ever-depressing barrel of Brexit Britain, let's talk hope. Let's talk independence. Independence is a state of mind. It doesn't begin or end with a constitutional question. It's about power, and it's about that power being closer to home. It's about decisions being made at the most appropriate level. It's about power that we can see, have influence over, and hold to account. At its heart, independence means not just bringing power home to Holyrood, but into all of our homes, all of our heads and hearts. It's about making our voices heard. It's about making democracy easy. It's about equal access to democracy. It's about achieving the fairer, greener, and healthier Scotland that we all want to see. Nationalism is not enough. Independence is our state of mind. We will have to apply it to ourselves first. We have to apply it to our campaigns, our structures, and our branches. For others, the 2017 elections are a warm-up, a press angle. But for us, it's the chance to turn the tide of centralisation, to act like the powerful councils that we want to create already exist, to show voters at the basest level what independence means to us. Once people get used to democracy on their doorstep, see themselves and their values listened to and reflected in the demographic and decisions made by councils, then independence is their state of mind. A step up and not a leap into the dark. The start of meaning and not the means to an end. Nationalism is not enough. This is our land, our fight, and our voices cannot be silenced. Now, I'd better finish up quickly before I contravene our new policy on speech length. But I hope that the message that you can all take away from this conference is one of hope. We have never been in a better position to see huge green swathes of councillors throughout our lands. By thinking and acting locally, we can all make a huge difference globally. In Martian Live, Moran Tang, agus gur mahech lein leis and turis hoshach orum. Cheerio, many thanks, and good luck for the journey ahead.